Alright, hello and welcome to week 14 of my account update series, the account where I'll be spending a little bit each month in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So we had a bit of news this week, just a little bit, but mostly some new packs that were coming to the game and I believe are now in the game, and specifically I'm referring to the new Leviathan Lightspeed bundles. So those are actually going to have a big impact on this account and potentially pose a little bit of, not a problem, but a thing to work around in the long term. So I think I'll start by going through those, and then that will inform my plans going forward, I think, because I'm going to tweak things ever so slightly. So I'll start off in game, but I won't be able to see all of the Lightspeed bundles, of course. So we have a sort of new Darth Revan one with Relic 5 now, where it used to be Relic 3. I believe that one's less impactful, just helps get Darth Revan as quick as possible, but crucially there is no Jedi Knight Revan bundle being released at the same time, so it may take a little bit longer to get both Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan to get Malik, which will be important in a second. We have a couple of Conquest characters as well. Of course, these aren't requirements at the moment. I guess who knows with Dark Moff Gideon, is that his name? A Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, because we have the Mando film coming out this year, so always a chance could be a requirement at some point. And Darth Bane as well, who's probably one of the best standalone characters in the game. These are just, well, Darth Bane mostly are just powerful characters, so will have an impact in terms of GAC, but not in terms of farming paths and requirements. I should mention that I'm not going to be buying any of these, partly due to a budget that I'm working on, about £50 a month, and maybe this one might be within budget, but just getting Darth Revan isn't that important to this account without some of the other things, so I won't be buying this. And then these two Conquest characters, yes, of course it would be great to have Darth Bane, but £40 is just, it's just outside of my budget when it comes to this account, and will move a needle a bit when it comes to GAC, but that's really it. To be honest, I'm more interested in some other farms and economy events and stuff like that. So, but the big one is the Leviathan Lightspeed bundle, or Lightspeed bundles, because I can currently only see one in game, and that is the second one. So this one has all of the pilots, some of which are also requirements, like Maul, I believe Sith Trooper, then this guy. I don't think Marauders are a requirement, but a bunch of them are requirements, but probably more importantly you get the ships, 7 stars, which can be a real difficult farm. So in terms of value, it's really good, but again, a little bit outside of my budget. And also in terms of what I find interesting, I'm just not interested in just constantly buying Lightspeed bundles. Yes, that will accelerate things quicker, but that's just, not what I find interesting when it comes to this account. But there is another Leviathan Lightspeed bundle which I can't view at the moment, because you actually need to have Malik and Darth Revan at 7 stars in order to unlock, which is quite an interesting requirement and potentially a bit of a blocker for quite a few people. So I'll just hop on over to the data mined image of that. Right, so it's this one here. Let me just go full screen. Yeah, so you get R7, Darth Revan, Darth Malik. You do need to have those two at 7 stars already in order to unlock this bundle, in order to be able to purchase it. So it is more about just getting those high relics, Relic 7, but you do actually have to go and farm Malik, and it is, I believe, somewhere in here, €30, so I think that's $25 or pounds. So the important thing about this is not being able to unlock it without having those 7-star characters. If we head back to the game, what that means is there's maybe a little bit of a delay in terms of most people being able to get Leviathan up and running after buying these Lightspeed bundles, because they'll be able to buy this Lightspeed bundle, and then also, yes, this is a returning one, so the Darth Malgus Lightspeed bundle, and then they'll unlock the Fury class Lightspeed bundle, and with those three they will have a good start. They will just need the other relics from the other bundle, which, unless they have Malak and Darth Revan already, they wouldn't be able to get. So it does really accelerate the timelines to getting Leviathan, but for a lot of especially newer accounts, unless they're spending a decent amount of money or already have farmed Malak for some reason, there will be a little bit of a delay in order to actually unlock Leviathan, and even then you're only unlocking Leviathan at 4 stars. And I think the total, if you were to buy all of the bundles, I think it's $130, not including maybe buying the Darth Revan bundle, or maybe the Jedi Knight Revan bundle. If that comes back, that would add on a little bit more money. And the big hold up is getting Malak to 7 stars, because even if you have all of the requirements for Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan, you only unlock Malak at 5 stars, and then you have to go in and spend guild event currency each time the store refreshes in order to get from 145 up to 330. And unless you've been hoarding guild event 1, that is quite an expense. I'm not even sure if there's another, you might be able to get him with crystals. Maybe he's in the shipments, or yes, so you could spend crystals. It will be a lot of crystals that you'll have to spend in order to get Malak quickly up to 7 stars. But for anyone buying these bundles, yeah, you should definitely be focusing on unlocking Malak as quickly as possible. And that might even include, if we go to the journeys, you might have to farm these requirements up to 7 stars. Essentially, yes, you could buy the Lightspeed bundle and that will get you Jedi Knight Revan, but then you'll still have to either, maybe you've already got the Lightspeed bundle, or wait for it to come around, or just farm these guys up to 7 stars. So all that's to say, it's probably still really good value if you're comfortable spending that amount of money, because it is a slightly higher barrier to entry, with it being a total of 130 if you were to buy everything, not including Jedi Knight Revan pack. So it is a lot of money. It's definitely more than other farms, really. But what you do get is the best fleet in the game, which you will have to then take up to 7 stars to really unlock its potential. But yeah, there is a little bit of work that needs to be done after buying those bundles. And the reason I'm going through all of that on this account, even though I'm not buying the bundles, is because this has implications for my fleet and my fleet shard. So I don't think, like, no one will obviously be able to unlock Leviathan today, because that event doesn't come until tomorrow. But I imagine a fair amount of people will be buying that bundle, and maybe they won't be able to unlock Leviathan straight away, but they will over the course of the next few months. Might take a while, might take 2-3 months in order to get the Malak requirements, then farm him up to 3 stars. Not 2-3 stars to 7 stars. Yes, the heavier spenders will be able to accelerate that with crystal spending, but will take a few months. So I essentially have, I think, a few months until I start to see a lot of Leviathans start to pop up. Potentially a couple will pop up maybe even tomorrow, or maybe the month afterwards. Like, I know that, I think this guy here, I did actually have a look at him before, just because he seemed to be quite a big spender. I think he was actually already working on Leviathan. Yeah, you can see this is actually before buying the bundle, so I don't know even if he will buy the bundle, but it was definitely already sort of bought Malgus Lightspeed bundle and all of that. So was definitely still working towards Leviathan, so might be in a position with those bundles to unlock him straight away, because I think they also have, do they have Malak? What Sith do they have? Yes, so they do have a 7-star Malak. So in theory, and at nearly 9 million, they are a big spender already, to be honest. So yeah, would fully expect them to maybe buy some of those bundles and accelerate things, and could potentially have Leviathan tomorrow. So that would mean Leviathan starting to pop up on the fleet shard. And I guess, what does that mean in terms of my plans to go full circle? So I have been working on profundity over the first few months, and nothing will change there because I'm there essentially. Where do I want to go? If we go to journey guide, check out the requirements, I have all of the relics done. I have all of the ships apart from from Outrider at 7 stars, and I'm 7 shards away. So I have the requirements. I have a relic Han and the Millennium Falcon as well, so I am good to go. The issue is that profundity will be really good against other profundities. It's great in the mirror, and also really good against executors like this. Even once it gets to 7 stars with Rogue One, those will be very easy battles, even at low stars for profundity. But it will struggle a bit, especially with 7-star Leviathan. So maybe we won't see 7-star Leviathan straight away, but I need to anticipate within the next 2 or 3 months there could be 5, 10 Leviathans maybe with those Lightspeed bundles. It's hard to tell for sure. There is still a lot of work required, and they are expensive, so maybe not as many as that, or maybe more, I don't know. But I do need to prepare for facing Leviathans. And if we actually hop on over to a farming plan I made for this account a wee while back, yeah, so this was a plan I made, I think, start of the year, and I on track to complete the profundity when it comes out on the 28th, and then I will still be moving on to Leia. I'll go through my Leia farming updates because I have been working more and more on her requirements. But then we have Executor in April and really unlocking in May. So the unlock date won't change. There's not too much I can do to accelerate unlocking the Executor because I haven't been farming Beskar armor Mandalorian. So I could in theory start now just in order to unlock it earlier, because that will be the hold up. I should have all of the other requirements through like the finalizer Lightspeed bundle, so I could in theory try and unlock it maybe on April the 15th by farming Beskar armor, not waiting for the Lightspeed tokens, because you don't actually need them at relics to unlock Beskar armor Mandalorian. So that is a possibility, but I don't think it'll be that necessary. I think I'll be fine just to wait until May the 15th, because we'll get Beskar armor towards the end of April, and then the next Executor unlock will be middle of May. So that is just under 3 months from now. So that kind of fits with my estimate of when I think we'll start to see a load of Leviathans coming up, like people maybe taking a bit longer to get there with Malik, and then even when they're there they might not have a 7-star Leviathan straight away and might still be able to beat like 4 or 5-star Leviathans, because a lot of their power is in like the full abilities and the 7 stars. So I'm thinking with like profundity I could be okay, maybe not getting first every day, but still hopefully placing quite highly up until getting the Executor middle of May. And the reason I'd be wanting to get the Executor is just because it's a more consistent counter to the Leviathan, especially at higher stars. And what I'll do is I will not invest crystals in extra profundity shards, but I think I will save them for when I unlock Executor, sort of middle of May, and potentially take it straight to 7 stars, maybe just to 6 stars. I'll have to see. I'm still not, it's hard to get good information on what star level will be enough. I have seen people beating Leviathans with like 6-star Executors, but of course most people making videos and stuff will already have Leviathan will already have Executor at 7 stars, so there's not a lot of information on lower star Executors. So I think I will just be conservative and save up the, I think, 25,000 crystals that I will need to take the Executor straight to 7 stars. And what this means is, because I'm also saving crystals for Andor and doing the whole 5-star character thing, means I'm going to have to really cut back on crystals if we head back into the game. So I'm already, just this week, started doing only 3 Cantina refreshes and 3 mod energy refreshes, because I am good in terms of normal and fleet energy. I don't have a lot of really pressing farms. Like, I'm still able to farm very slowly just because of the energy that occurs naturally, and especially the web store energy really helps still when it comes to normal energy and still doing those farms. So I'm cutting back on crystals by only refreshing these. But I think what this means is, after I finish my next farm, which is Leia, I think I will almost completely cut back on refreshes. I'll maybe do 1 or 2. We'll have to see how things go. We'll have to see how lucky I get with like the marquee packs for Andor requirements, that sort of thing. But I want to be able to save up enough crystals for both a 7-star executor in order to be, I guess, very consistent against the Leviathans when they start coming out, and then also saving up for Andor. So this is going to be a real drain on crystals, but I think it will be sort of short-term pain for long-term gain, because it makes sense to do the saving while I'm still while I'm still getting a lot of crystals. I'm still able to place first in fleet, and especially when I get profundity, and I think I'll still be able to get pretty high, maybe not first every day if a few Leviathans pop up, but still get sort of top 5 for a good few months, and then use those crystals and save up for a really strong and consistent Leviathan counter, which involves the TIE interceptor. The Mark 6 interceptor, in order to get some tenacity up. Yes, profundity does still counter Leviathan, but it tends to be at a much lower win rate. If you look at GAC results, profundity, and this would have to also be a 7-star profundity, would only be at, I think it was about 50, maybe up to 60%, but Executor is at 80% against Leviathans. So I think I would prefer to just have that more consistent counter, and sort of more consistent than things like the endurance, stuff like that. I don't want to be sweating it out every day in fleet, trying to beat a whole bunch of Leviathans. I'd like to get as a consistent counter as possible, and will also help when it comes to GAC. So yeah, that will be the plan, I think, going forward. So yeah, that's a lot of talking around that. When I saw the Lightspeed bundles, I was initially like, oh no, this is not going to be good, because I know it's just not going to be in my budget. But I think I have a solid way forward that will help in the long term, and still having a 4-star profundity will be really great, because what I'll do is I won't invest extra crystals in that profundity. But the great thing about profundity is, even at lower star counts and abilities, it can still do very well against Executor with Rogue One, and also against other profundities in the mirror match if you bring in TIE Bomber. So I'll still be able to get that advantage of just getting the shards naturally over time without spending a bunch of crystals on profundity. And I guess this is the advantage of going for 2 fleets early. I'll be able to use this profundities and definitely executors, and then use the executor on Leviathan. It'll make my life easier in fleet, but it will also of course be excellent in GAC, having 2 really strong fleets up and running, and home 1. And actually, while I'm at it, I will be working on a sort of Galactic Republic endurance fleet, because we are getting these guys, Bad Batch Lightspeed tokens, so I'll be getting 2 from the episode track. There's not really any use of me investing in the new Bad Batch, even though I guess that would be cool. I would then have to farm up the rest of the team, and really they could be a decent PvP team, but in terms of getting resources and stuff, not that useful. But I will be able to use these on 2 of the pilots for Marauder, probably Tech and Hunter. I think those are 2 of the pilots. And then I'll maybe just farm up Wrecker, because Wrecker is actually on the same node as this ship anyway, which I will eventually need. Can be used in the fleet, can also be used as a requirement ship as well. So yeah, so I will have hopefully Profundity, Executor, Home One, and a decent endurance fleet, and then I guess also a form of a sort of Executrix fleet as well with the Empire ships. So yeah, really looking to focus down on that. Right, so on to the regularly scheduled programming. Thought it would be useful to go through my thinking on how to deal with the potential new Leviathans, and also go through the Lightspeed bundles as well, because if you are willing to spend a lot of money, then of course it is pretty good value, and you are getting something that will help you eventually place first in fleet every day, so we'll have a really good return on investment. But if you're in my shards, it's terrible value actually if you're if you're in my fleet shard. So yeah, maybe stay away. So in terms of farming updates, I have all of the Night Sister team at 7 stars. I think what I'll do for now is I'm going to shuffle them to past farms. I will continue to work on the 2 Night Sister, or these 2 guys, and then I will also take maybe all of them up to R7, because these 2 are requirements. Night Sister Spirit is the main damage dealer in the team, so will be great to have at Relic 7. I'm just going to focus on a few other farms before I start really doubling down on this team, because where I am in GAC, I'm getting really great use out of them still. So once I'm finished with things like Leia, I think I'll turn back and work on this team more in terms of relics, and then maybe look at things like Balin as well by taking these guys up to R7. So that will be the plan for these guys. I'm going to send them to past farms for now. Also going to past farms will be these guys. So these were like the relic requirements, so the Chirotech characters for Profundity. I have them all done now. I don't need Mon Mothma at 7 stars, but she has been in the episode points, the episode currency store, for only like 1,000. So I think I just bought one of those, and so I might just buy her shards a few times, because I do tend to have a lot of episode currency, and maybe just take her up to 7 stars or close to 7 stars through that. No real point, but I guess always good to have characters at 7 stars if you can. So I'll also move these guys to done, or to past farms. So Millennium Falcon, to give it its full name, we have Han Solo, Relic 5. Again, this will be another character I will continue to work on for Jabba. Chewbacca, I think I will just sit on, he's at like gear 9 now, I think that is. Yeah, obviously he will be a Lightspeed token at the end of March, and I think I'll be able to still make use of the Millennium Falcon with him at low gear. I'll maybe eventually put Han Solo up to Relic 8, but given the state of my fleet shard, I think I can still make good use out of the Millennium Falcon. I'll maybe bump Chewbacca up to gear 12, just because I tend to have a lot of Mark 1 gear spare, so if I really need to, but I probably won't. So again, for now, I will move them to past farms, and then I'll work on them for their sort of requirements. Chewbacca for Jedi Knight Luke, and Han Solo for Jabba. So yeah, now, so that brings us on to my current farm, which is Leia. So what's the progress like here? So Scout Trooper I used an Erodium token on a while back, so have just been slowly farming her shards. So I think I've got a couple of battles, picked up another 2, so this will be done in the next couple of days. Then I will be able to take her up to Relic 7. Nisa, so I normally like to wait until the videos to buy the Lightspeed tokens, but I was able to buy a Lightspeed token quite soon after last week's update, and just wanted to make a head start when it came to farming her shards, because I will need her at 7 stars to take her up to Relic 7 for Leia, which I'm getting very close to, so might even refresh a few times on Nisa and get her up to Relic 7. Bausch will be my next Lightspeed token because she is only required at 5 stars. Sorry, Relic 5, and it'll be 6 stars, so that will be another character where I initially take to Relic 5 and then we'll work on her a bit later once I need her as part of the Jabba team. I think she's only required for Relic 5 for Jabba, but we'll want her at Relic 7, Relic 8 for the Jabba team itself. So nearly done with these guys, and I have been working on gear for other ones, mainly these two Ewoks, and I actually have enough to take Wicket. I don't know why I chose a Wicket over Chirpa. It doesn't really make a difference at this point, but I will take Wicket up to relics, and I think just to Relic 3 if we can. So there should be another requirement for Leia ticked off. There we go. Wicket up to Relic 3, and that brings me on to Chirpa. Looks like I already have a good amount of gear. Bit of overlap here actually, so really only one piece of that. Got one of that, and then I tend to be fine with getting enough Mark II from the raid, and also Conquest as well is a good way to get a lot of these pieces, and Chirotech isn't really an issue on this account, so should be able to maybe take Chirpa up to gear 13 for next week, and then that leaves Lobot. I will have to take Chirpa up to 5 stars. They are a Cantina farm, so we'll just have to work on them a little bit. Lobot will probably still be gear farm. The thing is that once I'm done with Bausch, which will be, if I continue to get 500 a day, which I have, will take another 5 days, and then you will add another about 10 days on top of that. So let's call it 2 weeks in order to get 2 Lightspeed tokens to take both of these up. I think in that time I could look to just get the gear normally. I guess the advantage of using a Lightspeed token on Lobot is that I could then use the gear I would spend on him to get to gear 13 on Leia herself, so it might speed things up a bit to put a Lightspeed token on Lobot, even though it's not the best use of a Lightspeed token. He only needs to be Relic 3 and isn't that difficult a farm, although he is Cantina, but he is 8 energy Cantina, so yeah, I'm still undecided. We'll have to see, because I don't have a lot of uses for Lightspeed tokens after that, so maybe I will just stick one on Lobot and be done with it, get Leia sooner rather than later for Leia. But yeah, we'll have to see. Lobot will be the last one over the line, and then these will be Lightspeed tokens as well. So yeah, and then future farms, just slowly chipping away at shards for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. No real rush for this. The guild is currently alternating between Rote and Darkside territory battle, so I guess there's still a reason to work on this and maybe get that get to for the guild a bit earlier, but it means they won't be pushing Zepho straight away. I imagine. I haven't actually checked, but I'd assume they'd wait until after they move full-time Rote to push for Zepho. So yeah, I will just slowly, this will be more of a background farm, spend a couple of Lightspeed tokens, and then in the next couple months I will get these guys up and running. Peridian Pals, so I think using Lightspeed token on Captain Enoch will be a good idea. Of course, I'm starting to think about the Kyber Lightspeed tokens, so potentially 5 from getting a 5-star Cassian Andor, and Captain Enoch could potentially be a candidate, although I might want to unlock these guys sooner, so I might, maybe after the Leia requirements and Lobot, I might put my next sort of a Rhodium Lightspeed token on Enoch. And then Troopers, I'm in no great rush to farm them. I'm still undecided on how much to invest into them, because I haven't really invested that much, just really we had a droid Lightspeed token that I spent on Dark Trooper. The rest are requirements, so it will help me get CT3 of the Empire Assault Battle, which should be nice. But my plan is actually to go for Jabba quite soon, especially with those Kyber Lightspeed tokens that we're getting from Cassian Andor. So, and I could just use Jabba to do the Bounty Hunter assault battles. So yeah, I think I will work on them at some point, but yeah, we'll see. And then of course the Bad Batch pilots, I will make a note to start farming Marauder pretty soon after I'm finished with Outrider, just because I will have 2 out of 3 of the pilots already. So that's the plan. Other things I'm starting to think about is, like I mentioned, Jabba, and that would involve working on Jedi Knight Luke. And I think that would definitely be one of my Kyber Lightspeed tokens, would be on Hermit Yoda, who, after I get Chewbacca, is somewhere, I moved him to the other farm, will be, I think, my only requirement for Jedi Knight Luke. And of course he has an assault battle that he's good at, so I would, look to use a Kyber Lightspeed token on Hermit Yoda, because Hermit Yoda is another annoying farm, requires a lot of get 1 in order to farm, so that would be the plan. And then I'm also maybe thinking, we're doing Conquest at the moment, Satil Shan, could it be fun to unlock Jedi Knight Revan and the rest of the team? That could maybe be a fun side farm. I'm still not sold. I might wait to see how Satil Shan does when she comes out to the game, when people unlock her first time, or I guess when I'll unlock her my bigger account straight away, so I'll get to see how she does. I don't think she's going to be game changing, but could, for an account like this, could be a nice boost. Oh, and another thing, I completely forgot about this, is the previous era units. So this completely passed me by, is that, so I only got to era level 70, which wasn't enough to get them to relics, but what I didn't realize is that presumably at different levels or stages you get different gear pieces. I just thought it would be straight jumping from gear 11 to gear 12 to gear 13, but you do seem to get the intermediate gear pieces, so I've already got a good bit of progress towards a lot of these characters getting to relics. And left hand side gear can be quite annoying to farm because it's a lot of the purple gear and this stuff that can be quite hard to do efficiently. It's not good to use like Mark II on it, so it's actually quite a nice head start for a lot of these characters. So another thing that I might like to do after I finish Leia and have some time for like side projects while I'm working on Executor and then into Jabba, might be taking a couple of these up to relics maybe, and then slow farming them. Like good candidates could be Darth Vader's Jewel's End, could be good. The only reason I wouldn't is that at some point soon I might unlock Starkiller, and then there's a bit of an overlap in terms of teams between his team and Starkiller's team, so might not be that useful. Stormtrooper Luke might be nice as just like an extra 3v3 team as I start to move up in terms of GAC. Just sticking an Omicron, which should be 10 Omicrons, is currently 20, but should just be 10 normally, and I already have Princess Leia, and we'll be getting, I think, a Stormtrooper Han Lightspeed token, so we'll have the 3v3 team ready to go, and he is currently farmable, so I might stick him as a bit of a background farm, and it's not going to be that much to take him to relics. Maul, I'd be interested to see if there's any uses outside of this Stranger team. Like, I wonder could I stick him on like a Seer team? And I imagine not, but maybe like a Seer baby cow Maul Hatefield, like in like Chromium GAC, could that do anything? That could be fun. I don't know, we'll have to see. But Barriss, because we have 9th sister and 2nd sister from the Lightspeed tokens, that would make another 3v3 team. And maybe in 5v5 I could stick her with this monstrous Seer team because I won't have Malicos. Maybe I could have like Seer, Inquisitor Barriss, Maul Hatefield. I think that could be terrible. I haven't looked to see if there's anything good there, but yeah, so I think Inquisitor Barriss, where is he? Luke. Oh, I favorited Luke, and then maybe Vader as well. he won't be farmable until quite a while. So yeah, I think I could, though those will be quite nice sort of side projects, I think. So yeah, in terms of other updates, yes, so Conquest. So I have started hard Conquest for the first time and have been making slow but steady progress through the various sectors. So we are what, 3 days, 2.5 days, no, 3 days, 3 days into Conquest. So in sector 3, I'm not refreshing an awful lot. I have done 1 or 2 refreshes just when I'm bored and have some time to do some extra battles, but mostly it doesn't make sense to refresh a lot just because I don't have that many teams. I have a sort of nice solid group of teams. I have SWGOH, I have Great Mothers, Phoenix, and I have also Padawan Obi-Wan and his Omicron, Padawan Obi-Wan, and so those are getting me through the battles and able to do quite a few feats, especially with Obi-Wan. But of course I need to be really careful about their stamina and sort of manage that, so which means it's quite slow progress, but I think I'm able to do a lot of the feats. I'm able to do a bunch of the global feats as well, things like One with Keller and Beck, Golden Challenge Path. Might be able to cheese this by fighting like Thano teams. I think that's where I got the 8 profit from. I don't have any characters that can give profit, so I think that's where that's from. So the big aim would be gold box, if that is possible, because with buying the Conquest pass, which I already have, so I picked up the first one, but I can start picking up these guys as well. That will give about 17 shards, 18 shards, depending on how far up this track I can get. How far would it be? I would get to, let's say I get here, so that would be 18 shards because I wouldn't get these 2, and then also the 65 here. So I missed out on 1 hard Conquest because I wasn't 4 million yet, but already had 25 to begin with. So I'm hoping by doing a couple of gold boxes, buying the Conquest pass, I should be able to get Satio Shan without buying any extra shards. I haven't done the maths on that yet. I guess I can easily check, but hopefully by the end of the sort of 6-month cycle in which she's a reward, I should be able to unlock her as my first new Conquest character, just for the sake of doing so. And you always want to try on Conquest characters because you never know when they might be useful. So yeah, good progress with that. I don't think, video's already running slightly long. I might not show any battles, but I can maybe quickly show my data disk setup because I think I've been fairly lucky by getting quite a good one. Yes, I haven't even filled it out fully. So Zealous Ambition, Leader's Resolve is really good. I may swap out Weak Spot for another Zealous Ambition depending on the team, but this is relatively good all-round setup, especially Weather the Storm is good for a lot of teams that are slow to start, like Phoenix and even like SWGOH and a few others as well, because it prevents anyone from getting debuffs or any damage until they take a turn. So it's really good at counteracting just the teams taking huge starts essentially and wiping everyone out before you get to go. So that's been really good, and will also be good for cheesing certain feats, like so this one is win 10 battles with Forlom and Zuckuss. I do actually have, I think, like a 3-star Forlom and Zuckuss if we head to Bounty Hunters. Yes, I do. So, a 4-star Zuckuss or 4, I can't remember which is which. So yeah, with that disc I should be able to cheese it. And also, I don't think I've got any mods on him, so I maybe won't do a battle, but I'll be able to actually start using like a Scoundrel team, because Dash Rendar is really great with Zealous Ambition, and especially with Leader's Resolve. Right, yeah, so yeah, Conquest going well, and hopefully I'll be able to get Gold Crate, and if not, the crate below should be enough if I buy some shards as well. Next on the agenda is Era Battle. So this just launched today. I haven't done any of it yet, so I guess we can have a quick look to see how we get on. So I'll be able to do 3 tiers because After that, I would need a 5-star hate-fueled maul, which I don't have. Right, so yeah, I haven't done any of these yet because I haven't modded them, but hopefully I'll be able to get some progress. Maybe not all of them. I did try it briefly, but without mods, I was not able to get very far. So hopefully we can start to pick up some extra character shards, which will help with my plans of, yeah, trying to get some of these characters up and running. So that should be good. Coliseum. I won't go too much. I've been doing a few separate videos on Coliseum, but I have spent a bit more. I bought another gear pack just to jump things up and sort of secure that top 30. Will it be worthwhile in the long run? I am actually recording. I'm comparing this account to my bigger account, which is the same star level, but not spending. So hopefully I'll have a good idea of, I guess, the value of spending on certain packs by the end of things in terms of extra error currency. But have been getting 500 a day, so comfortably in the top 30 every day. Yeah, not really changing. Going to top 10 is just a little bit prohibitive in terms of score that you would need. So I'm just not going to get involved in that race, and then just do what I can, maybe slide down a bit and try stay in the top 30 for as long as I can. So that's the plan there. Bunch of rewards. GAC, so I think I moved back into, or I've stayed in Bronzium 3. I'm hoping with unlocking Leia soon and Profundity, I'll be able to push into Chromium, which should be possible quite soon. And then I've got plans like working on error characters just for strengthening out my roster a little bit. I really don't want to focus too much on GAC, but if there's anything I can do quickly and easily, I will do that. So that's it in terms of the account. Let's hop on over to my weekly stats. All right, so spent again this week on that era material pack, and also very poor resolution image of the Conquest pass. So I will now be buying this every month in addition to the episode pass. So that will be £30 that's accounted for, and then £20 I guess to spend on different things. Like at the start of the era, I will spend on era material just to help in terms of getting more era currency. So far I have spent £16 on era material, but I think like last era, that spending will tail off as things progress, and then we'll see what else. I am still fairly ahead of my £50 a month target, so we'll be reducing spending again to get back to this target. I do occasionally flirt with this trend line, and then spend a bunch and go above it. I'm not too far above it, but I would like to try stick to my goal if possible. Stats, so not that much GP increase, which I think is expected because I really bloated last week and tried everything I could to get to 4 million, which did work, but that naturally means there's not that many improvements I can make this week. We do now have the Journey Quest tokens. I haven't unlocked them yet just because it's Princess Leia and Farm Boy Luke, so don't really have a lot of use for them straight away. So I'll take my time with unlocking those, and that'll be a bit more GP. But more importantly, hopefully next week, if we get back on track, should be the Commander Luke Skywalker, the Droid Lightspeed token, Akbar as well. So yeah, lots of things to look forward to there. Guild has shown some good increase. I get a lot of increase. Even, yeah, I'm wondering if the data I had last week was correct, because 13 million is quite a lot in the last week, and I think it's actually even more because I just checked just before making the video and was 281 million. So I'm wondering, combination of Lightspeed tokens, maybe people buying the Executor Lightspeed bundle, I don't know. But yeah, good to see sort of approaching 300 million. So yeah, really nice progress with the guild. My mod score hasn't really increased, but I would call this a win because this is the first mod score after I did that massive bloating session. Oh, sounds horrible. The massive GP increase session last week. So by staying still, I think that's really an improvement because I was still able to improve my mods. And yeah, so it's still an improvement in mods, even though my mod score hasn't increased, if that makes sense. It's just because I added so much extra GP last week. Nothing's really changed in terms of the raid. I think still getting that like 5th or 6th box, which is more than enough, to be honest. Don't really have any, nothing really to talk about there. Going really well. The guild's getting a lot of tickets, which is good. I do keep track in terms of the stats of how often the raid is being launched, which translates to how often is the guild getting 30,000 tickets or as close to as possible, which informs these figures here, because these are weekly figures. So the more often the guild's being run, the higher these figures will be. And yeah, the guild's doing great, getting, I think I called about 6.5 sort of in terms of frequency. So, and that's pretty good for a guild this size for sure. So yeah, a lot of Mark 2, a lot of Mark 3 that's building up. I think I might be able to take Leia straight to R9 if I wanted to. I think I've got more than enough when it comes to relic materials, era currency, because I'm in top 30 is good at the moment. We'll see how long that lasts. Crystals, no real change, and as I mentioned, I'm going to really be saving crystals for potentially going to 7 stars with Executor. Assault battles, no real change. There should have been a change, but I was really busy yesterday. I got to CT1 with the Night Sister team. I should be able to progress beyond that, maybe to CT2, CT3. There's still a little bit more work I can do on that team, so maybe not CT3, but I should have been able to do better than CT1. I just ran out of time yesterday, unfortunately. But once I'm done with Leia, I'm going to start focusing on getting a few of these up to CT3. Like, I'll be able to get Military Might up to CT3 with Leia herself, the Rebel Roundup when I get Jabba, which will hopefully be sooner rather than later. Jedi Knight Luke should help get CT3, of this one. I could maybe do CT3 already of this one, with some manual play and remodding, and then yeah, Night Sisters should be able to get CT3 here, and then maybe Imperial Troopers for this one. This one I will probably wait until I get Reva, or we get Reva through the guild, which will be quite a while, but I'm not really bothered about one assault battle not being CT3, so that's good. And then I will work on Peridia Patrol soon after Leia. I'm going to go into a real assault battle mode again shortly. So yeah, finally era rank, not very interesting this week. Stayed mostly in top 30 apart from one day, and that's when I decided I wasn't a fan of the RNG determining whether I get top 30 or not, so I decided to just buy that extra £7 pack, and it's been decent since then. So yeah, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like, subscribe, comment below. What are your plans with the Leviathan Lightspeed bundle? Are you going to be buying it? Are you free to play and terrified of 50 Leviathans appearing in your fleet shard? I would love to know. So yeah, thank you very much, and see you next time.